It's raining and windy, pretty terrible weather, not much you can do outside. So I figured I'd walk through a few of the steps that we're taking as we prepare for the season and also go over the seeds that we're planning to grow this year. What I'm sharing here is just kind of a rough schedule that I put together, not meant to be exact dates that we do these things, but just kind of plus or minus a week or two. So we're right now sitting in early February. Like I said, weather's terrible. But as we get into March is when I want to cut the cover crops before they flower and till them. Till the patch, which will give it a little bit of time. Somewhere towards the end of March is when I generally like to start the seeds. And that's also when I'll take a soil sample from each of the two patches. As I mentioned, I'm going to be growing 4 pumpkins this year, 2 in each patch. Each patch is in a different location, different soil type. The first patch is the patch I've grown in for 3 years, so I have a decent understanding of that soil. The second patch is brand new, hasn't had anything growing on it in a very long time. So I really have no idea what to expect there. So I will take soil samples from both of those patches, and then the results of those soil tests will dictate what kind of amendments that I apply before I do a final till and basically get ready for actually planting. Seeds start towards the end of March, apply amendments early April before the plants actually go out. A couple of notes to myself on getting the patch fencing and the drip irrigation and overhead. I'm going to be doing overhead and drip irrigation this year. I kind of converted to that towards the end of last year, and it seemed to really help with my dry, hot climate. And then another date that we're always looking at is when do we actually pollinate. I like to try and pollinate around the solstice, so somewhere around June 21st, 22nd. So let's talk about seeds. So these are all the seeds that I bought at different pumpkin auctions this year. There's a few more I have my eye on, but this is what I have so far, and this is generally what I think I'm planning on growing. So I haven't decided for sure, but roughly like the 2 that are in yellow would go into one patch, and then the 2 that are in green would go into one patch. I look at the 2560 Ginger having already been grown for a season as kind of already a known entity. It's had a lot of good results already. And then actually the rest of them are all 2023 seeds that I'm thinking of growing. So they're all kind of, unproven. But you'll notice there's a lot of 2365 Wolf, which is kind of the hot seed in a lot of these crosses. So 2222 Ginger was crossed with the world record pumpkin. So that would be a fun one to grow. This 2266 Kissamore is bright orange. I think it was one of the closest to the biggest Howard Dill award-winning pumpkins, so big and orange. And then I really like this 2245 Andrews, that really bright glossy orange color, kind of like the pumpkin that I grew last year. A few others that I'm interested in, this 2042 Kissamore was I think somewhere around 19% heavy, so that's an interesting one. The 2198 Haste is, if I'm pronouncing that correct, is an interesting one because it has the 2006 Wolf, which is another really bright orange pumpkin. And that was a proven, I think it's a year or 2 old. So this is roughly the lineup, most likely going to be the seeds that I'll be planting this year.